Good morning, members. I call Committee of Supply Section C to order. We're meeting today to consider the budget estimates of the Ministry of Public Safety and Solicitor General, and I now recognize the Minister to move the vote.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I move be it resolved that a sum not exceeding $1,068,431,000 be granted to His Majesty to defray the expenses of the Ministry of Public Safety and Solicitor General Ministry operations.
All right, Minister, do you have any opening remarks? No. Okay, so I'm now going to recognize the member for Kelowna West.
Thank you, Chair, and it's good to be here and have a chance to talk a little bit about something that I'm a little passionate about. But I just wanted to, it's been a very difficult and trying last few years with the climate issues that have faced Okanagan grape growers and wineries. And they're continuing to assess damage in the vineyards at this time, which is probably going to be about another month before we have a real certainty. But there's a replant program that the Minister of Agriculture has announced, $23 million dedicated to the vineyard replanting, which I know myself and the member from Boundaries to Milkameen are working hard on. And it's welcome, and we're looking forward to that getting out. But what I want to ask today through to the Minister, Madam Chair, is that a lot of the wineries, as he knows, don't have a grape supply this year, and of course many of them are in very difficult situations. So I'm just wondering if the Ministry could confirm the number of people that were assigned in the Liquor Control Licensing Branch to deal with the transition, which appears to be the only option to convert from land-based wineries to commercial winery licenses in 2023. So the number of people that are working in that area.
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, and I appreciate the question from the member. And so I can give a direct answer to the specific, but I'll also talk a little bit about the broader issue because he and I have talked about this as well. And so there's obviously the replant program underway, but we have been meeting extensively with wine growers, with grape growers, the wineries themselves, on the challenges that they're facing in terms of not just the freeze that happened this year, but what has happened in the last couple of years, and what that means in terms of going forward, and what that means in terms of wine sales in British Columbia and the challenges that they are facing, and how we can mitigate that. And I have also been working. This ministry has also been working with the Ministry of Agriculture on that. So there's a lot of work that's underway. In terms of the specific. There are 12 people working on that issue that the member just raised.
Member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so just to clarify, 12 people, meaning that's the current. Really what I'm getting at is what additional resources have been assigned to that area in the past 12 months?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. It hasn't for the member. It hasn't required additional resources. What we have done is realign the work of the LDB to make so that those individuals are focusing entirely on the issue that the member has raised. So it's not required new people. It's just required an alignment of work with what the priority is and what the issue is that the wineries are facing.
Member.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. So through to the Minister, I just want to be clear because, of course, as we get closer to when these wineries, the 461 that are licensed land-based wineries in the province, are coming up to where they would have grapes coming from their own vineyards here in British Columbia, the timelines that they're now kind of, I guess they've been expecting some sort of direction from government, but this point, it appears that the only real direction is to change. So I'm just kind of wondering if asked, what type of timelines these individual wineries will face in terms of conversion, in terms of having to get access so they can properly import grapes.
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, and I appreciate the question from the member. So I'll make a couple of points. One, there's no backlog right now. It takes about a week to do a turnaround, and obviously if we see an increase in that, we will add additional resources. On top of that, what I can tell you is we also have a proposal from the Wine Growers Association, which is currently under consideration by government.
Recognizing the member for Prince George Mackenzie.
Thank you, Chair. We've had a little bit of wine before we get into the aspects of policing here, so I don't know whether you need a staff change or not, but I'll just...
We're not driving.
No.
Jeez, I thought that's right.
Member.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be going into other policing topics this afternoon, but last November, the Premier announced an increase of $230 million to the provincial RCMP budget to add 277 members. Just wondering whether the Minister can give us an update on where that sits, how many members that we have on the ground now, and what the rollout is for the rest.
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, and I appreciate the question from the member, and as the member knows, it is a three-year program. So in the first year, we added 62 members, and this year we are working from a target of 132.
Member.
Thank you, Chair. I just wondered if the member or the Minister could tell us what the priorities are from the policing perspective, from his office perspective, versus the priorities for the RCMP. I'm sure there's some similarities there.
Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I appreciate the question. So our priorities are, and the RCMP's priorities are aligned. We're both working from the same page. And I can tell you that the priorities are, I think, the same as what we talked about last year, but they are major crime, BC Highway Patrol, and rural and remote provincial detachments.
Member.
Thank you, Chair. So of the 62 that have been placed in year one, how many of the rural remote detachments, because we have some that are really struggling with the workload and whatnot out there. So how many of the, and where would these be?
Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So in that first year, 5 have gone to rural and remote detachments.
Member.
Thank you, Chair. Which ones?
Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thanks to the member for the question. So the five are Anaheim Lake, Vanderhoof, North District, Golden, and the South District, Southeast District.
Member.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate the answer from the minister. Anaheim, I'm familiar with that. It was in my old district. And I know a lot of the rural and remote communities that are desperate for additional help also include housing. So the position that went to Anaheim, was there an additional house that was built for or provided for the member that was occupying that?
Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I can get the exact, I'll get the answer, the confirmation answer for the member around Anaheim. What I can tell you is one of the things that we do is one of the factors in terms of where officers go that we work with the RCMP is because we want to ensure that in fact that there is housing in a community, because as the member, right, I think we both agree that's of critical importance, but we'll get that information around Anaheim for the member.
Member.
Thank you, Chair. And I appreciate the answer, and I look forward to the answer. There's a number of communities that are suffering from the same issue. Housing has always been an issue in attracting resources into these rural and remote communities. Has the ministry budgeted for additional housing in some of these remote places like Anaheim, for an example, or we've got Tseke, Quadacha, Takla? There's a number of the isolated posts that do require housing because there's none available in the community itself. So has there been any budget for that?
Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and I appreciate the question from the member. So we work very closely with the RCMP on this issue of accommodation, and we do it primarily through the accommodation program charge. which has the ability to provide capital to construct or purchase housing for members. Some communities do, in fact, do leasing. But it is, we work, as I said, we work very closely with the RCMP to be able to identify, one, what housing needs are, and work with them on and trying to ensure that there is appropriate housing in a detachment or in a community such as the one the member is talking about.
Member.
Well, thank you, Chair. So, going based on my previous experience, that was always a barrier to staffing a lot of these remote communities. Housing can't materialize overnight, particularly in the remote communities because of the cost of getting materials in there and trying to find the help to build them. So has the ministry done any work with the RCMP to look at these remote places to ensure there's accommodation, because we've got a couple more years left to go in the program and some of these places are in dire need of more support?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Yes, we are.
Member.
Thank you, Chair. Just also, the minister mentioned the North District getting a position as well. The North District encompasses 75% of the province. Just wondering where in the North District this position went to.
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. It's the provincial support team that provides relief support.
Minister, can you move the motion?
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I move the committee rise, report amazing progress, and ask leave to sit again.
Great. The question is that the committee rise, report amazing progress, and seek leave to sit again. All those in favour? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, this motion is carried. Thank you, members. This committee stands adjourned.